Have you ever felt like the universe was trying to tell you something, but you just couldn't understand the language? What if I told you there's a mental key capable of unlocking that code? And the best part, it only takes 5 seconds to use. Get ready to discover a simple yet powerful technique that can completely change the way reality responds to your mental vibration. This isn't just another self-help trick. It's a direct bridge between your mind and the field that shapes everything that exists, revealed by none other than Jacobo Grinberg, the scientist of the invisible. From this moment on, you'll learn how to instantly activate this latent power within you, one that's ready to mold the universe to your will. Before diving into this revelation, leave a comment below. My mind is aligned with the universe. This will strengthen your intention and attract even more synchronicities into your life. To understand how a simple mental act can influence reality in just 5 seconds, we need to explore the discoveries of Jacobo Grinberg, one of the boldest thinkers of the 20th century. Grinberg, a Mexican neuropsychologist who graduated from UNAM and earned his postdoctoral degree from the University of Colorado, devoted his life to investigating the interaction between consciousness and reality. His most remarkable work, the synthetic theory, proposes that the human brain doesn't merely interpret the external world, it actually creates it from a unified field of energy and information. According to this theory, everything we perceive as reality results from the interaction between the synthetic field and our neuronal activity. That means by altering our mental vibration, we alter the very fabric of reality itself. Other thinkers like David Bohm with his implicate order theory and Karl Pribram with his holographic brain model also supported these ideas in complementary ways. In this video, you'll learn how to apply this knowledge in a practical way, through a mental trick that activates within seconds this interface between your consciousness and the universe. And from there, reality begins to respond. To grasp how a simple 5-second mental technique can trigger instant changes in reality, we must understand how the mind and the universe are intertwined at a much deeper level than we've been taught. Jacobo Grinberg, through his revolutionary synthetic theory, proposed that the reality we perceive is not a fixed external entity, but a construction emerging from the interaction between our mind and a fundamental field of information and energy. This field, called the synthetic field by Grinberg, is like an invisible holographic matrix that contains all possibilities of existence. The human brain, when interacting with this field, organizes, selects, and decodes information, producing the reality we experience. In other words, consciousness is a creator-processor of reality, not merely a receiver of external stimuli. This idea connects with other advanced scientific theories. Quantum physics, for instance, shows that the observer influences the observed, a discovery that challenges the traditional notion of a universe independent of consciousness. David Bohm spoke of an implicate universe, where everything is connected within a hidden, more fundamental dimension than the physical world. Karl Pribram proposed that the brain functions like a hologram, and that reality itself is a holographic projection originating from a non-local source. Grinberg merged these concepts into a coherent and practical framework. For him, when we increase the coherence of our thoughts, emotions, and intentions, our mind aligns more precisely with the synthetic field, creating more harmonious, synchronous, and even instantaneous experiences. He even demonstrated in studies with shamans and meditators that expanded states of consciousness modify electromagnetic patterns in the brain. And intriguingly, these patterns were linked to perceived changes in the physical reality around those individuals. Based on this, the 5-second mental trick presented in this video is nothing more than a tool for immediate alignment with the synthetic field. When you apply this technique, you're not merely thinking positively or making a wish. You're activating your mind's natural ability to encode reality through vibration and clear intention. This shift in perception, from seeing yourself as a victim of chance to recognizing yourself as a co-creator, is the first step toward completely transforming the way you live, decide, feel, and relate to the world. It's at this point that theory ceases to be theory and becomes a spiritual and transformative practice. Now that we understand the foundations of Jacobo Grinberg's synthetic theory, we can explore the central technique of this video, the 5-second mental trick that, when performed correctly, brings your mind into perfect resonance with the unified field of reality. This technique requires no lengthy practice or complex beliefs, only presence, intention, and conscious direction. The technique consists of 3 simple mental movements, performed in sequence, lasting about 5 seconds total. Completely silence the mind for an instant, creating intentional inner emptiness. Feel emotionally the desired outcome, as if it's already happening. Proclaim a mental command to the universe with full conviction. This triad activates what Grinberg called the synthetic convergence point, where neuronal activity stops being random and aligns with a clear vibrational image of the reality one wishes to manifest. The initial silence is crucial. It clears the mental noise that distorts the connection with the field. Emotion generates the energetic charge that sustains the vibration. And the final affirmation sends the signal with clarity, like an activation password to the universe. A practical example. When faced with doubt or desire, pause for a second and go completely silent, then deeply feel the sensation of already living the solution or achievement, joy, peace, fulfillment. Finally, mentally say something like, "Everything is now aligning in my favor." Then release, trust, and observe. Why does this work? Because you're using the languages the universe understands: silence, quantum potential, emotion, vibrational frequency, and clear intention, creative focus. This exact combination, according to Grinberg and other researchers, can reorganize the quantum field patterns that give rise to physical reality. It's important to note, this trick isn't meant to manipulate reality selfishly. It's a tool to align with what resonates with your highest essence. The purer your purpose, the faster the universe responds. Its power lies in its simplicity. It doesn't demand blind faith, but conscious presence and vibrational consistency. As you repeat it daily, your mind begins to operate in a state of conscious creation, and synchronicities start appearing almost inevitably. If the mind influences reality, how exactly does it happen? The answer emerges when spirituality meets modern physics. Human intention isn't just a subjective wish, it's an actual measurable frequency that interacts with the environment. When we speak of making the universe obey, we're not referring to magic, but to a vibrational resonance process between the mind and the quantum field. In physics, resonance occurs when 2 frequencies align, amplifying each other. Clear intention, when emotionally sustained, works as a vibrational transmitter. According to Jacobo Grinberg, our mind isn't an isolated product of the brain. It's an energetic emission that influences the synthetic field, the matrix that gives birth to what we call objective reality. The quantum field, accepted by many physicists as the invisible substrate of the universe, is composed of possibilities, not certainties. It responds to observation, expectation, and especially intention. When we emit a thought charged with emotional conviction and clarity, that information vibrates at a specific frequency. The field, being receptive and plastic, tends to reorganize possibilities according to that dominant vibration. It's as if reality were a blank musical score and our intention the pen that writes the melody. The more focused and coherent the intention, the clearer the song that manifests in the outer world. That's why the 5-second technique is so effective. It concentrates the mind's energy into one moment of vibrational alignment, avoiding internal dispersions and contradictions. Moreover, studies by researchers like Masaru Emoto showed that even water changes its molecular structure depending on the emotional frequency it receives. If words and thoughts can affect molecules, imagine what they can do to the invisible structures of your reality. Intention is creative power, but only when free of doubt, fear, and mental noise. The 5-second mental trick works not just because it's simple, but because it respects the logic of vibrational physics. It silences the mind, removing interference, activates feeling, generating energy, and projects clear direction, focus. It's like tuning a radio. When you adjust the dial precisely, the music plays. If you turn it too fast or without focus, all you hear is noise. This is the key, vibrational clarity. When your mind, emotion, and intention move in the same direction, the universe responds, not because you commanded it, but because you became compatible with what you asked for. When you begin to apply the 5-second technique consistently and mindfully, something fascinating starts to happen. The world around you begins to respond with subtle signs, unexpected events, and coincidences that feel orchestrated. These phenomena are known as synchronicities, one of the clearest ways the universe obeys your mental vibration. Jacobo Grinberg believed that reality is a malleable field of information organized around consciousness. When the mind reaches coherence with a particular pattern of reality, through clear intention, sincere emotion, and absence of resistance, the field responds. And that response often doesn't appear as an immediate event, but as a chain of aligned circumstances showing that reality is reorganizing itself. These signs can take many forms: a message arriving at the perfect time, someone mentioning exactly what you were thinking about, an opportunity appearing out of nowhere, or even an obstacle redirecting you to a better path. The key is to recognize that these synchronicities are not mere coincidences. They're confirmations that your mind is tuned to a new vibrational reality. Carl Jung, who coined the term synchronicity, saw these events as manifestations of a deeper order, a system linking psyche and matter. Grinberg went further, affirming that these manifestations aren't just symbolic, they are the synergetic field reorganizing itself in real time according to the new vibrational information your mind emitted. To recognize these signs, cultivate a state of expanded awareness that goes beyond analytical thinking. When you silence, feel, and project, as the 5-second trick teaches, you must also trust that the response will come, even if not exactly as you imagined. The universe doesn't respond to control, but to resonance. A powerful practice is to keep a synchronicity journal. Write down every time something happens that feels too coincidental to be random. Over time, you'll notice patterns, and this will strengthen your connection with the field. Each recorded synchronicity reaffirms to your subconscious mind that the process works, and it begins operating with more confidence and alignment. Remember, the universe doesn't speak in words, it speaks in events. And when your inner language changes, the outer world begins to respond. The 5-second technique is the start of that inner transformation. Synchronicities are the evidence that you're on the right path. A powerful technique means nothing if not applied consciously in daily life. The true impact of the 5-second mental trick lies in its ability to be used anytime, bringing clarity, alignment, and manifestation to real situations. Here's how you can integrate it practically across different areas of your life, turning intention into experience. Imagine you're about to have a difficult conversation. Before speaking, pause for 2 seconds. Breathe deeply, access the feeling of peace and resolution, and mentally affirm, "I communicate with harmony and am clearly understood." That small alignment shifts the energy of the interaction. You enter the conversation not just with words, but with a vibration that influences the environment. The same applies to financial decisions. Facing an important choice, perform the trick. Silence your mind, feel confidence and stability, and say mentally, Everything I need flows easily. This practice won't make money fall from the sky, but it reorganizes your perception, opens your mind to opportunities, and aligns you with more intuitive and effective actions. In health, the trick can serve as a vibrational reinforcement. Feeling tired, in pain, or emotionally off balance? Silence yourself, connect with the feeling of well-being even if it's not yet real, and affirm, "My body is restoring balance now." The brain begins to respond with real hormonal and neurological changes, since it doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality when the emotion is genuine. Spiritually, this technique becomes a ritual of reconnection. Upon waking, before even leaving bed, you can perform it, aligning yourself with your highest self before external interference. Throughout the day, use it as an anchor whenever you feel lost or disconnected. Over time, it becomes a high vibration habit, and results begin to manifest more fluidly. And perhaps most powerfully, use this technique when facing existential choices. Before making an important life decision, apply the trick, but with one nuance: instead of desiring a specific outcome, desire alignment with your highest path. Feel the trust that life is working in your favor, and say, "I'm exactly where I need to be." This conscious surrender opens doors that rational control never could. The beauty of this technique lies in its versatility and depth, despite its simplicity. You don't need an altar, a master, or the perfect environment. You just need presence, sincerity, and a willingness to align your mind with the field. The universe responds to coherence, and coherence begins with 5 seconds of pure intention. Now that you've learned how to apply this 5-second mental trick, remember, the real power isn't in the technique itself, but in how you choose to use it. The universe is constantly reacting to the frequency you emit, and every second is an opportunity to realign, restart, and co-create the reality you want to live. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start today. Apply this technique when you wake up, when facing a challenge, when making a request to the universe, or simply to reconnect with your essence. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes, and results will appear not as magic, but as vibrational consequence. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find powerful tools to awaken your potential and live more consciously, fully, and connected with the whole. And leave in the comments, "My intention transforms reality." By doing so, you not only activate this vibration in your life, but also strengthen this energetic current with everyone walking the same path of awakening. See you in the next video. Until then, keep creating, because the universe is listening.